Hey friends, welcome back. It is Beth with crochetrx and Creations. It's been a bit since the last video. I did kind of warn about that with everything that's going on. We are in dance competition season for my daughters, but I do have some fun things to go over today. Not much of a life update. I then, after posting the last video, realized I never showed you my pretty new Furls hooks that I had bought. And then I finally received a package that I purchased over the holidays. I subscribed to a surprise box. So I just got my first package for that. So if you are new here, I am Beth. I am a nurse diabetes educator and I run this crochet business with my daughters. They are both teenagers. We homeschool, they do competition dance. The oldest one is taking college courses in addition to her high school courses, and both are severely dyslexic. The school system wasn't set up for them, and so homeschooling has been an unexpected part of my parenting journey. I've had some recent turmoil with my employer. I work for a startup, and there's been some issues with cash flow. Payroll hasn't been running as it should. Didn't again this month. But I am applying, I am putting myself out there, trying to find a more stable position. And it's a lot. It's a lot. If you've been recently looking for jobs or know somebody in the job market, it is like a full-time job just to do this. I went through a series of 3 interviews with one company only to be told that they are reevaluating their need for extra people and hiring is on pause for now. I've got a couple interviews with CVS and Blue Cross Blue Shield, CVS Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, trying to find a new diabetes educator position. And it's unfortunate. To take a local nursing job, I would be taking over a $10 an hour pay cut. And that is hard. I can't see working more hours for less pay. Especially when I have to potentially factor in, health insurance and all these other things that I haven't had to pay for out of my own paycheck because I'm a contracted employee or a contracted worker. I'm not an employee. So that is where things stand there. Last week, dance competition. It was a super great kickoff to the competition season for the girls. And so I'm excited to see how the next couple of competitions go. We don't have one this weekend, but we have one the following weekend. And then my birthday is this month as well. So I think at one point I had mentioned that I had to cancel my nail appointment, which was the one thing that I would do for myself when this whole payroll issue started last month. And so I've been doing press-ons now for the last couple of days or couple of weeks. I'm gonna have to find some different ones though. This particular brand isn't long enough for my, this brand and style isn't long enough for my fingers. So I've got it accented with some Amazon nails for the length because I can't trim my fingers any shorter. So that is that. And so then as far as the hooks, a while back I had mentioned that I purchased a number of secondhand Furls epoxy hooks. And those came in a while back and, they got opened, they got put in my crochet bag, and then I totally forgot about talking about them. So I had purchased 5 hooks. Previously, the Furls that I had was this one, a 6.5, and I really like it. It is very nice on my hands and it just does really well this is what I use for Bernat. So I bought a variety of sizes. So I've got a 5.0 here, super pretty in that. And then the next one is a 5.5. This is in a pink glittery, glimmery sparkle here. And then we got a 6 I did pick up a second 6.5 just because that is a size that I use frequently. This one does have a little bit of a bleed in it there, but it's still super pretty. This is what I crocheted with at our dance competition this last weekend. And then I also picked up, so I have a 8 in a off-brand, and then I grabbed a 9. So all of these came from the same person and out of California, and who's also a nurse. And so I purchased all of these through them as they were destashing. This weekend I crocheted chickens and started some loaf cats. So I've got 2 chicken bodies here in the tweed, and then I've got, I shoved it back down the center. I've got the start of a loaf cat, so I can put the face and whatnot there. Then I've got 2 more chicken bodies, and I thought I had another loaf cat body, but apparently not. I don't see it. So I will do that. I got word today that the event I had applied for the end of this month, they did not pick me. They had tons of applications and only 10 spots for vendors. I had 2 shows lined up for the spring, and then both ended up canceling. So now I'm back to trying to fill just 2 shows. I now have a show in April for a nearby town for their Chili Fest, which is a Boy Scout fundraiser. And then what I thought was the end of the month, because I've been then holding that space, is not. So don't have any urgency in the crocheting, but it's always good to restock when I do not have anything pressing. And I am pretty sure I was completely out of chickens and pretty low on loaf cats as the season ended last year. I don't even remember how I got started with this company. Something happened, some event, and I got onto their mailing list, and I just started receiving their stuff and kind of watching their things. And then they did a advent calendar, kind of Christmas countdown sort of thing, and they've done some other promotional stuff. And at the end of the year, they started marketing for their 2026 subscription box. I have not done a subscription box for yarn. I have thought about it, but just so often it just seems like it's not stuff I would use. You know, like similar to a clothing subscription. Or I did there's a women's subscription that had a bunch of beauty stuff in it. Can't even remember the name of it. And so often there was just, even though I picked a lot of those things in that women's subscription box, there was still so much that like I would never have purchased for myself. And it got to be to the point where it just wasn't even worth the money, because there was just so much stuff that I would give away or not use or whatever. So I went back and forth about subscribing and doing this subscription box. If you have done a subscription box, I would love to know who you go through, what your thoughts were. The threads, loops and threads, I think is another one that continuously gets marketed to me. And is it worth it? Are the patterns something that you use? Is the yarn something that you use? How many duplicate tools have you gotten? But this wasn't cheap because you pay for the year in advance. But I did sign up for the twice sheared sheep subscription box. Nothing really happened in January. We get 3 boxes, I think. And then other months there are, maybe January we got a pattern. February, we got a first look at the new stuff launching, and we could have added it to the kit or to the subscription box. But since I'd never gotten the subscription box, I didn't want to add stuff to it, not knowing what it tends to entail. So I didn't add anything. So I didn't do the pattern that we got either. So this is really my first look here. I have not opened it. I just cut the tape here. So we will open it together. All right, here goes. Oh, all right, so this, you know, I did get an email saying that they were going to do a kind of unboxing together sort of thing. But it's like another week, and I just wasn't gonna sit around for it. So inside, the top sticker says, "You are loved. We say it with yarn." And then, so here's our countdown to spring with us. Ooh, the box is sliding off my lap. When to open each present. For pattern suggestions, how-to videos, and where to get more, visit. So today is the 11th as I'm recording this, and I guess the first day of opening is the 13th. But I think we're gonna open it now. So I've got, this shows things are numbered 1 through 8. Excuse me. Open for your seasonal challenge. And then I've got this. So 1 is on the very bottom. So we will take things out here and put them next to me somewhat in-ish order so that I can get to 1. All right, so this is 1. So what is, so this is a bag inside of a bag. Inside of a bag. All right, so, ooh, I'm losing my stuff here. I've got chicken bodies and everything flying. So this is what looks to be like, so, and I got the crochet box, by the way. They have a knit and a crochet box, and I totally got the crochet box. Maybe sometime I will feel confident enough to get a knit. It was pretty. So this, and I don't remember offhand how much, you know, value I'm supposed to get out of the boxes. The year subscription was something like $380, if I remember right. So this is just a bag. There's no hook things or anything like that. It's just a pretty bag. And a pocket on the front. Again, just a basic pocket. It feels like a leather-ish bottom. There's no tag or anything that says anything more about it, but very cute. Let me stick this back in the bag. Maybe. All right. So there was 1. So now 2. An itty bitty little bag. And what does 2 have for us here? Again, a bag in a bag. I'm gonna be pretty stocked with white bags here. All right, so they're like toggles. Like what I would, this says large up to US 10.5. It looks like it goes on a knitting needle. Cable locks. All right. So let me get this. So they show it on a needle. Okay, we will keep going here. Hopefully I got the crochet bag. All right, three feels yarnish. Yes. So this says Feeder Brook Farm, 260 yards, hand dyed, hand wash only, blue face Leicester wool. So it's very pretty. Some pinks and yellows. So that is 3. This says it is a A3. So printed on recycled paper. All right, 4. More double bags. All right. A yarn cutter. All right. So this looks like a puzzle piece, or sorry, a key, but with a puzzle piece there. So does it come out? I don't know that it actually comes out, because if you can see, it kind of looks, it's fitted in there together. And then it's got this like knife. It's got a blade there. So that is something to watch out for there. Interesting keychain there. Interesting concept. Probably not TSA compliant. All right, so that was 4. So now we're on 5. Oh look, a bag in a bag. All right, so 5. Right clip, don't forget, future you will thank you. Which needle hook size, which pattern size, how many repeats, future you isn't going to remember, so write yourself a nice little note. Slide the clear protector cover to the side, write your reminder in wet or dry erase marker, slide the protector cover back in place, clip to your bag, project, whatever. All right, so let's see here, right on me. Okay, so this is just it's got a little magnet, and so it just spins off to the side and then magnets back together to protect there. So interesting concept. All right, 6. Also, when I was purchasing this, you had the option to pre-order the advent calendar, and I did not, because I wanted to make sure that I was going to like what I was already purchasing. Bag in a bag. And stitch markers. Snag-free stitch markers. Got little purple daisies here. Right. They're definitely bigger than the stitch markers I use. I just use the little plastic ones. So I'm not quite sure how much use I will get out of those. 7. 7 feels a little bit more substantial. It's thick, sturdy, a little heavier here. So all right, this is a gauge. All right, oh, I guess I'm holding it backwards for you to see. This is a gauge with a ruler. So you hold this over your stitches and it shows you, you know, how many stitches per inch, so that you can gauge as your stitches fall into those groups, categories. Let's see if I can, oh, I'm not even sure. 3 stitches per inch, if I'm even there. So there we go. That's 7. I've got one more to open. This appears to be a 10. Oh. All right, my daughter will be jealous now. So we've got a little Highland cow notions tin. So super cute, super adorable. I do like that little guy. All right, so that is the subscription box. For pattern suggestions, how-to videos, and where to get more yarn, visit the QR code or go to the club resources page. So that is the unboxing. I honestly am not sure how much use many of those things will get. So yeah, sometimes I wonder, you know, if something starts out as a yarn or a knit company, how much they're in tune with crocheters. Oh, I remember how I found them. It was in a crochet summit. They did one of the classes on notions. There you go. And so if I went to their page or something else, I got a coupon. However, I never ended up spending that coupon. But that is how I found them. So there we go. Mystery solved, I remembered. But for things like this, you know, I use these on sewing patterns more than I do anything else. I suppose putting it on the hook makes some sense, but I don't know. Or the knitting needle. I'm not certain about that. And I'm sure there are lots of people who would use the gauge. I have not made any clothes. I have never gauged a project. And I can only think of maybe one amigurumi pattern that I've done that may have even had a gauge on it. Most of them just say depending on the tension, the size of yarn you use, the size of hook. This is, you know, sizes are going to vary. The pattern creator used a size 4 weight yarn, used a size 3 hook, used, you know, and it came out to be X number of inches. So not a whole lot of use for this at this moment. I'm almost kind of scared to have this in my yarn bag. Like, What are your thoughts on that? Because that's just an open blade. And somehow I would get a finger stuck. Like, I don't know. So, I don't know. And I've never used stitch markers like this. I don't know how well that larger end goes in and out of the stitches. We'll have to experiment with that. This is very much similar to yarn that I had purchased last year during the yarn tour, of which they are running again. Bags again are $25 to participate and get the goodie bag and entered into drawings and stuff. So I am planning on doing that. Certainly if I change jobs, that will affect some of my availability to participate. I won't be able to just take off on a Thursday and go to these shops. So many of the shops were only open on goofy days. Some were only like Friday, Saturday. Some were open like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some people work, y'all. Like, hello. So it'll be interesting. But quite honestly, I got so many little goodies out of that $25 bag for the yarn haul or the yarn tour that was totally worth it, even if I don't do anything else with the yarn tour. Getting into the prize drawings and getting the goodies that I got in that bag were really great. So I feel like right now the item that will get the most use is this cute little thing, even if it just sits next to me and keeps me company. Maybe these two will just keep me company and they'll just party with me here. I didn't really intentionally have the cat for this crochet video, but I washed my other cup and that was the next cup that I grabbed. So, all right, I think that gets about to the end of what's been going on recently, get you caught up on things and through some of this happy mail. So again, next weekend we are traveling, we've got dance competition, and so probably not another video for at least a week and a half to get through all of that. So let me know what you're up to. Let me know how your spring is going. Let me know if you've done subscription boxes before, because I would love to hear about your experience and if there is one that you have found that fits your style really well. I would love to hear about it. So for now, you guys take care and we will talk next time.